Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Mary.
I'm Linda, and welcome to Peaky Miles Sisters in the Kitchen. It's fall, Mary.
I know it. I'm loving this weather.
And you know what that means, right?
Yeah, fried pies.
Fried pies. So I hope that y'all are excited as we are to be making fried pies. And we're doing this in 2 days because it's if you do it in 1 day, it's an all-day deal. And when I say all day, you're not working all day, but you have to let stuff rest.
Right.
And then after you roll them, you got to let them rest before you fry them. So I learned all this the hard way. You know, I'm not like my mom and my sister. I had to do it my way, and it took me a long time to learn. It took me 3 months to learn how to make fried pie.
Is that right?
And that was making them every week. Every week for 3 months.
I made them along beside Mother for a while before I actually started out on my own. So that's where I learned, because I made them with her.
I'll tell y'all a little secret. I was like fried pies like I was sewing. I didn't figure there was any need for me to make fried pies as long as my mom and my sister made them. I didn't think there was any reason for me to sew as long as my mom and my sister could sew. So after Mama died, you know, we grieve differently.
Yeah.
And Mary is, she is a take charge, gun-ho type of person, and it takes her a while to really get in the grieving process.
Yeah.
And me, you know, I go from the top of the ceiling to the basement immediately. And so it was something that helped me get through the grieving process. And so I got in the kitchen one day, and I said, and it was in the summertime, it was hot. I said, I am going to learn how to make fried pies, and I made the biggest mess. They were good, but they were horrible looking. And I did this for weeks on end until I finally decided I couldn't do it like my mom and my sister. I had to do it my way. So anyway, mine's a little different than what Mary and Mama made, but it's the way I do it. And if you want to roll yours out whole, we're going to be doing this tomorrow.
No, that's a different. It's a different recipe than what Mother and I used
from the old crust where she rolled them out.
Right.
But she still rolled out this dough, didn't she?
She did, but she could. This dough is the
you
texture.
You can't get it as thin.
You cannot roll it as big as what Mama did on the other recipe. Yeah.
So I decided I'd roll mine individually. So that's what I do. But we're going to do that tomorrow. So what we're doing today is we're going to do filling, and we're making apple filling, and we're making pineapple filling, and we've showed y'all how we chop stuff many times. So I went ahead and cut the apples, and I went ahead and chopped them, and I've actually got the burners. I already had this cooking just a little bit so the boilers would be hot.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show y'all what I used. And,
so are we ready to go over there now?
Yes, in just a second, Mary.
Oh, okay.
So I bought a 5-pound bag of Fuji apples at Sam's. These are not real big apples. And in the recipe, and the members will see on our page, and I'll tell y'all today, it calls for 5 apples. But the apples that I used were humongous. They were really big apples, like we used to get when we were kids.
Oh, okay.
These, in my opinion, these are not big apples. They're a medium apple. So I used 7 or 8, I think. But this, again, this recipe that we're doing today, this is for 75 pies.
Mm-hmm. And that's big pies.
Big 6-inch pies.
Right.
If they were the small pies like Mom and Mary made, you would get way over 100.
Yeah.
But if whatever apple you use, you do not want a soft apple. You want a firm apple. Fuji, Honeycrisp are very expensive. This bag of Fuji, the 5-pound bag, I think it was $7.98 or $8.98 at Sam's.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I use. But we're going to go over here now to the stove and wash my hands again because those apples haven't been washed.
Okay.
And we are using.
They sure do smell good.
Thank you. We're using the cool handle pots because I didn't want to have to be worrying about pot holders and picking up something with a pot holder. So this is. I've got 7 apples in here. I think it's 7 or 8. I used a cup and a half of water, and I probably could have put that down to a cup, but I did increase it because I put more apples in it. And now y'all don't freak out on me, but this has got 5 cups of sugar in it. You do not have to make it that sweet. You can cut it down to 3, or you can cut it down to 4. But I've got
like
5
sweet.
apples in here because that crust,
Yeah.
when you're eating a sweet pie with that crust, it counteracts it. I used a tablespoon of our Coringe cinnamon, which, by the way, we think this will be available October the 1st for those of you who follow us on our other page. 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, and I used, and again, don't freak out on me, but I used a tablespoon of salt. When you cook fruit, you always need to put salt in it, and I used a tablespoon.
Now, did you put any butter in that?
No, I don't do that until it's done.
Yeah.
We'll actually,
I just
when we add the cornstarch, and we'll do that in just a few minutes. We want to get this boiling real good. Doesn't take long to cook apples, so I've already had this boiling, but I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, and we'll add the cornstarch. And once we get it completely smooth and thickened, we'll add the butter and vanilla. And I'm going to use, I put on the recipe a teaspoon, but I'm using more than a teaspoon. I'm probably using about a tablespoon or a little over, and I'll use a teaspoon full of vanilla.
And the reason that you put the butter and the flavoring in there last is so you don't cook it out.
Yeah, you don't want to cook it out, and that's why you put it in there last. Thank you, Mary. And the cornstarch is, we're going to mix that up in a little bit, but I'm going to move over to the pineapple and tell y'all what I'm doing with the pineapple. I've got, these are big cans of crushed pineapple. You put the juice and all in it. I've got 2 of the big cans, which these are, 16-ounce cans? Oh, 20-ounce cans. And then I thought this was tidbits, and it wasn't. It was crushed. I usually use this size of tidbits. I don't even know if you can find this anymore or not. You can get the little ones. And this is the 8-ounce. If you get this, you want 2 cans of these, of the tidbits. The reason I do that is for texture. Now, I did put one of these in there, which is a little bit more than what the recipe is, but it's not going to matter. So I've got 2 of the 20-ounce, 1 of this 15-ounce, and this 8-ounce. You can see they're different brands. It doesn't matter. If you want to use the one in the heavy syrup, you can. I usually buy the ones in the juice because that's adding extra sugar.
Yeah.
If you
and pineapple's my favorite.
Here, would you hand me that rag over there? That dish towel. Thank you. Okay, we got this boiling pretty good. Now the pineapple hasn't started boiling yet, but it will. Oh, no wonder I've got the rear on. I don't know why I keep doing that.
That's what I usually do.
I wanted to use this front one so I didn't have to keep leaning over, so I'll turn this up. So you can see that this is pretty thick. There wasn't a whole lot of juice in there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it has much
Sometimes
juice.
Pineapple has more juice in it than that, but the apple is going to be ready before the pineapple.
But when you put sugar in that, it gets more liquid.
Yeah, you're right, and I hadn't put the sugar in it yet. So I'm going to add salt in here too, and this is I'm going to do a 1/2 tablespoon. I think I've said a tablespoon, but you can add more. I guess I'll go ahead and put a tablespoon. This is a 1/2 tablespoon, so I'll go ahead and put what I had on the recipe so y'all don't think I'm telling you one thing and doing something else. So I'm going to add the sugar, and you're right, Mary, it is going to make it more liquid when we add the sugar to it. So all this is the pineapple, salt, and then I'm going to add the sugar, and y'all know we use Imperial extra fine sugar. And I've already measured this out, and again, this is 5 cups. And for you that want to cut down on it, you certainly can. If you're going to use a sugar substitute, I do not use sugar substitute. Mike does. I don't like it. I've never found one yet that doesn't have an aftertaste to me. Now, everybody's not like me. I understand that. So if you want to use a sugar substitute, you can. It's lighter weight and volume, so it is going to make a difference in what you come out with on the finished product. So I'm not going to tell you what that would do because I've never done it. I'm going to tell you what it will do with the real sugar. So I'm going to pour this in there. See if I can
You
get
sure
this.
don't use as much of the substitute sugar substitute as you do real sugar. It doesn't take. I tell you what, when I use a recipe, something sweet, and I'm using a sweetener substitute, I use 1/4 cup of the substitute to 1 cup of sugar. That's what whenever I'm making pies and I'm using the sugar substitute. 1/4 cup of that will equal a cup of regular sugar.
That's a big difference, isn't it?
It's a big difference, and it doesn't it's not as sweet as a pie with the sugar, but it tastes pretty good. And if you're not used to eating sugar, it'll taste sweet.
And y'all know Mike does it. He's very careful about how much sugar he eats. Not that he has to, he just is, unlike me. Anyway, we're back to our sweet pies. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up the cornstarch to go in here because this one's actually ready to put cornstarch in it. One of us is going to stir and one of us is going to stream it. And when you're pouring cornstarch in something like this, if you're young and beautiful doesn't have anything to do with it, I'm being silly, but you probably younger people have more dexterity in their hands than an older person does, like us, or like me. I'll say me because Mary can probably handle it. But I know if you pour that cornstarch in it and don't stir it while it's going in there, all you're going to have is a big mess.
Yep.
And you don't want to do that. So there's a lot of trouble that goes into making these, and you do not want to mess them up.
Yeah. You just tell me what you want me to do.
Okay, so let me get my recipe here. I wouldn't look if I wasn't on camera, but since I'm on camera, excuse me, Linda. So I'm going to use 2 cups of cornstarch and 1 cup of water, and I think I've got a bowl. I think I need a bigger bowl here, so I'll have room to actually stir this. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 cups of cornstarch, and Mary, if you'll get me a cup of, make sure it's turned over to the right so it's
not hot.
Not hot. Yes.
You just want a cup?
Yes, a cup. Now we may have to put more because we want it to be kind of a glue, kind of a Elmer's glue type consistency.
There's your cup.
Thank you. There's 1 cup. Don't make this in dark clothes because it's sticky and it sticks to you like glue. Cornstarch does.
So do you just mix just water with your cornstarch?
Yep.
Is that how you do it?
That's how I'm going to do it. And you can see I'm going to need some more water.
Okay. How much more do you need?
Get me about, I don't know, 1/2 cup. I probably won't use it all, but give me a 1/2 cup. And it's stuck to my whisk, so I'm going to pour some water over this whisk. Thank you, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And some of you are probably saying, why do you put water in to cook the apples and then add water back for the cornstarch? It seems like you're being what is the right word? Counterproductive.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you need some water to start cooking these apples. Now, apples have a lot of water in them, and they do have pectin in them, which I'm very well aware of that. And this is thickening. This cornstarch is the thickening agent. But because you need the water to start cooking the apples, you also need some thickening in there. And y'all are going to think I'm nuts, but did I put some extra water in here? Did you notice?
Yeah, I gave you.
Okay.
I had a 1/2 cup. So
okay,
whatever.
so I put about a 1/4 cup more
Okay.
water in here. It's still a little bit thick, but you'll see it's actually a little thinner than a glue consistency. But it's at the bottom, it's kind of thick. Now, I'm hoping that this is going to be enough, and I'll know pretty quick if it's not. It's very hard. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go ahead and make more than I need, and that way I can tell when I'm stirring.
Yeah.
Because if you do this and then you go back and add it, that also is, to me, it messes it up. Does it to you, Mary?
Well,
if you add it twice, if you add cornstarch twice,
I have done it.
I have too, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, no, it'll. It seems like it weakens the flavor a little bit.
So I'm going to be making. I'm going to be using cornstarch in the pineapple too.
Yeah.
So if I don't use quite all of this, so this
I do mine a little bit different from you, so I'm not gonna mess up your plan.
So I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. Now, Mary may make fried pies one day, and she may do hers completely different. Like she said, she has a little bit different method than I do. But
it all tastes the same. But I do mine a little bit different. But that's it. It basically, it's just however you want to get to
a little
the
bit
end
more,
product.
about a 1/4 cup more water, please. Oh, Mama would. Thank you, Mary. Mama would probably laugh at us because she didn't measure anything. She just started cooking. You can tell this is thick.
Yeah.
And I just want to get it stirred up real good before we start pouring it in there.
I think you're gonna have plenty. That's for sure. Cornstarch.
Yeah, I think I'll take a fork, Mary.
A fork? Okay.
Yeah, keep dropping the little one.
Okay.
Keep dropping this here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to get all that hardness out.
Now, another thing I want to tell you about this cornstarch. Mary, would you stir that pineapple for me, please?
I will.
If you let this sit very long, the bottom of it is going to get completely. It's going to turn to powder. That's what it's going to do. In fact, if you let it set very long, it will be powder.
Sure will. And you're going to have to stir it quick when you put it in there. This is getting awful thick, Linda.
Yeah, you can turn that burner down just a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I'll turn it down to 3. Because, see, when I'm stirring it, it's really getting thick. You're not going to need much, not a lot of thickening. I mean, you know what you're doing. and it's no way of telling you. You just have to do it.
You have to feel it.
Yeah. And you know whenever you got it right.
So instead of 2 cups of cornstarch, this is about 3, and about probably close to 2 cups of water. Okay, I think I pretty much got this stirred.
Okay.
So,
what do you want me? Do you want me to stir or pour?
I want you to pour, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And just kind of do it as streaming it in. I'm turning the burner up because I want it to start bubbling. You can tell it's getting lighter because this cornstarch is white.
And one thing you don't want to do is to dump this in there.
No. Is that too hard on you doing that, Mary?
No, I can do it fine. I'm just telling them, you don't just pour it in there.
No, because you'll have a hot mess.
Yeah. It'll be all kind of flour, cornstarch lumps.
Why use cornstarch instead of flour?
I just like cornstarch better. Do you, Mary, as a thickening agent?
To me, if you get too much flour in it, you're going to taste the flour.
Yeah.
That's my
And it's not cooked either.
Yeah.
The flour is not cooked. And you'll have that pasty taste, like Mary said.
Stop a few minutes and see. What do you want me? Put some more.
Yeah, it's gonna need some more, but
Yeah, of course they'll know that when it gets cold, it does get thicker, but
it does. It gets thicker.
you also have to have enough in it, because you can't. I don't know. Maybe that's what you were saying a while ago. You can't thicken it after it turns cold. You know, like if you.
You can't
After you cool it.
But what I was actually saying was like when you get through putting what you think is in here,
Yeah.
and you still got it on the burner, if you start adding more cornstarch to it, it's going to
Yeah.
knot up.
Yeah.
Or at least it has with me. And I may get mine a little bit thicker, but see, this is entirely too thin, even though it's going to get thicker.
Yeah, it is. I mean, my opinion. Well, that sugar, it turns in you cook it, you're going to cook it, the sugar makes liquid, you know?
Yeah.
So
It does.
I don't want to, I'm going to give you time to get that stirred.
This is a job.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while since I made pies.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've made these hundreds of times. Mary has too, but probably, I don't know, Mary may have made more than I have, but I pretty much know that it takes the 2 cups, and I don't think we've quite got enough in here for the 2 cups yet, but once this starts bubbling, you can tell.
Do you want me to put some more?
Give me just a second here,
Oh, okay.
because it is starting to get thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it's starting to thicken up.
And when it starts getting thick, it gets thick quick, don't it?
Yeah, it does. Mike would stir. He would stir and stir. This was his job.
Yeah.
And he would stir this stuff. You can tell, see how much thicker it's getting.
Yeah. Got a little cornstarch on the handle.
We got our flu shots yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, and went down to the cemetery and did the put our footstones down. We've been wanting to do that for a long time,
Yeah.
and I think they look real nice. I got to get a headstone order,
sure-
but I didn't put them on Facebook because I didn't want to think somebody thought one of us had died. Okay.
Have you heard from Aunt Lucy today?
No, I did yesterday, and they were trying to make a decision today, and I won't know until Eva texts
Yeah.
us. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. You can tell that this is getting thick. I'm going to
Okay.
take it off
Okay.
and set it over here. If Mary, would you move that
What do you want me to do?
that bowl scraper there?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just going to let it set here just a minute before I
Okay.
pour it up.
Okay.
Don't want it to sit too long, but I'm going to let it sit a minute so you can tell
Yeah.
how thick that's
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah, it'll get thick. Show 'em a spoonful, Linda.
See how much thicker that
Yeah.
was.
It's thick.
When you're making pies, you don't want it so runny, because what's going to happen when you put a spoonful on your pie dough, it's going to
It'll
run all over the
It'll
place.
run. And even if it's hard, thick, when you put it on your pie dough, when it hits that hot oil, if it's not thick enough, it's going to run out,
Okay.
or it may not run out. But sometimes, can I hold?
Take
or
the
pick-
spoon, yeah,
Okay.
if you don't mind, Mary. I guess I'm probably doing this backwards, but
Yeah.
try to pull it over so it don't run over the sides, please. Thank you.
Still some in
Yeah,
it.
I figured it was.
Yeah.
Now I can do that if that's too hard for you to do, to get the rest of it out.
No.
This is kind of crazy because sometimes it's easier to hold and do
Yeah.
the spoon by yourself
Probably-
than it is having somebody to help you.
Probably need to do the bowl scraper to get the rest of it out.
That's a good idea. And we're going to use this same pan to fry them with tomorrow.
Sure does smell good.
Does it smell good?
Yeah.
Would you rake that over
Yeah.
there, please? Thank you.
Okay. That's,
Okay, so for everybody for the recipe, I probably used exactly what I said on the recipe about the 2 cups. I might have
for
put,
the apple.
Yeah, I might have put just a tiny bit more.
You give me the
Water.
scraper and I'll scrape this hand with the.
This is clean paper towel here.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now we're going to mix up some more cornstarch. And we're going to, I think I'm going to move this over
I
here.
was thinking you was doing enough cornstarch for both of them.
No, I knew it wouldn't be enough for both.
Well, I see that now, but when you was mixing it, I thought you was.
If I knew if I had any left, I would use it.
Yeah.
You can see how this has already started to get thick
Huh?
in the bottom.
This is the big one. No, this is a 9-quart.
Okay, yeah, that one's not available anymore. I didn't use the 8-quart because I just didn't want to deal with those handles.
Are you needing some more water, Linda?
Yes, I do, and I'll take about a cup and a half, Mary.
Okay.
I may not use that much, but that's what I'll take. And I'm using the same cornstarch in here. You can see how much more liquid that's got in it since we added the sugar and the salt.
Just 1 1/2 cups.
Thank you. And I'm going to move this over there on this
Okay.
burner, just so it'll start
Get hot.
bubbling quicker.
Yeah.
And I guess I need to change this over there because I don't want to use the.
Are you through with the
Oh,
spices? Or?
you know what?
We didn't put the butter
I
in
didn't
it,
put the
did we?
butter and the vanilla in it. So, okay.
You want me to go ahead
Yeah.
and stir it in there?
Just kind of stir it in there, and y'all see what I do. Don't do what I did. It's not a disaster. You can still fix it, but pour some vanilla in there, Mary, and kind of do that. Y'all don't let me forget the butter and the vanilla on this one, please.
About a teaspoon?
Yeah, about a teaspoon. It's kind of funny, and it's not funny, but you know, when you're doing something on live, it's very
it is,
easy to make a
Linda.
mistake.
It is.
And if you're taping it, you can correct the mistake and edit it out, and nobody ever knows the difference. But we do our stuff live, so mistakes happen,
Yeah,
and then you correct them. That's
Yep.
what you do.
that's right. And I'm sorry I didn't remind you, but I
Well, that's
guess
all right.
I'm just.
I was just wanting to get it the right consistency, and I just didn't do it.
It's all right. We're getting it in there. I've done it.
That's one of the things that people have mentioned in their comments that they appreciate and value about your show that makes you different from other shows.
Yeah.
is the fact that you are live. and
Right.
It is realistic.
Right.
It makes them
It
feel
happens.
less intimidated when they're doing it and make mistakes.
Hey,
Well,
I couldn't fill it in a pie before, and
So make some on purpose. Not kidding.
I'm making up not on purpose. I don't have to create them. But it is, you read the comments and it's kind of comical because people will say, you know, this show doesn't do that, that show doesn't do that, why don't y'all get your stuff together? And these are very few and far between, but it's funny to me because I'm like, yeah, and that show is not taping live either.
that's right. It makes a lot of difference. You
Sure does.
cut out all the mistakes.
Okay, we're probably not going to need all of this either, Mary.
Okay,
But
I'll pour.
we may not even need but half of it.
Okay.
But okay. All right. See, this is a smaller boiler, so it's
Yeah.
it's
Getting hot quicker.
yeah, it's getting hot quicker.
Robin Stewart says, I love that you sweet ladies keep it real.
Well, thank you, Robin. That's very sweet. I've seen Mama make mistakes, and she didn't throw stuff away when she made a mistake.
No.
She figured out something to do with
That's
it.
right.
And I doubt there's too many. See, this is getting thick really
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
I doubt there's too many cooks that have not made mistakes while
Right.
they're cooking.
I was watching Rachel Ray one day, and she made a mistake.
Yeah, it's just okay. This is good. Now
You add your butter.
now I'm going to add my butter and
Now
my
it's-
vanilla. That little piece right
the
there.
little piece?
Yeah. Pineapple is my favorite.
Yeah, me
I love
too.
apple, and if I eat an apple, I want it with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. I know, sugar on sugar. Can you get me the vanilla, Mary,
Oh, yeah.
please? And but pineapple is my favorite, and I love coconut. Coconut is like eating a bowl of coconut ice cream. I mean, it is so good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably want to take pictures of these steps, you know, like pictures of the filling, and then when we start with the
Linda, can I move this over so you can
yes,
pour
you can
it towards the camera?
Yes, you can.
Let me move this over.
I'll try to. I don't want to burn you, Mary, but I'm gonna try to do it like this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's fogging up my glasses. Y'all hear my tree trimmers out there, my yard people? They're trimming trees today for me. Yeah, oh,
There's
this
the-
is clean. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Whoever washed it, probably you did, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
pineapple's my favorite.
It smells so good.
Mm-hmm.
These bowl scrapers are so nice, aren't they?
They are. They're. I always use spatulas, but that just gives you
I
get more out.
You
at a
can, and I
time.
love the way it feels
Yeah.
in your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think we're done. You want to taste that? You might not want to.
I tasted the apple.
I do. That's Carla, by the way.
That's pineapple. That's my favorite.
Mm.
You want to taste the
I
pineapple?
do.
That was so good. You can actually get some out of the thing if you want to.
That's good.
It's tart and it's sweet,
We'll
right?
wait. Yeah, we can wait till we'll wait till tomorrow to get a pie. We're
So
gonna
that's the way I like the pineapple.
Make
I
it
like it
right.
sweet, but it's still tart.
Yeah.
And I hadn't tasted the apple yet. I want to taste a bit. See if this still tastes real sweet.
It's not.
The apple?
Apple's not real sweet.
It's
It's not
not.
too sweet for us.
No, it's
That's what
not.
I mean.
Okay. Now I'm going to take this in the utility room, move that stuff, and then we're going to mix up the dough.
Okay.
I've already got pot holders down in there.
Okay. Well, I won't leave the camera.
Hi, Linnell.
Hi, Linnell.
Linnell's watching.
Good.
Hi. She needs to be here too, so she could get
Yeah.
some pies.
Yeah. So, have you? Is anything I can hand you or get out for you? for the
No,
crust?
I've got. I'm just going to leave all this over here.
Don't
Just
you
move
fall.
this, and yeah, you can hand me those. And
What bowl are you going to use?
excuse me, I've got it over there. Oh, all right, already out. I'm going to wash my hands first because Y'all can use gloves to do this, but I'm going to advise not to. And I'm not going to use gloves today.
No.
Because this is a sticky, heavy dough. And if you use gloves, it's going to stick to the gloves. I'm going to wash my hands real good. And I'm going to mix this up by hand. And I'll get that out before I start. But this is a 4-pound bag of tortilla flour mix. It's not tortilla flour or not flour, it's tortilla mix. And this is Walmart brand.
And everything in it.
It does, but we're going to put some more shortening in it too. You can get, is it White Wings is a brand?
I think so.
If you don't have a Walmart in your area, there's a White Wings brand. I believe they're 4 pounds too. You can also get an 8-pound bag. Advise against that because you're going to have to divide it. You can also get, I think it's a 25-pound bag.
I've never bought a 25
It's a
bag.
big bag. When I was making a lot of pies, I was buying big bags. But this probably, if you don't find this in the sugar aisle, look in the Hispanic aisle with the Hispanic foods, and you'll probably find it there. Don't follow the recipe on the back. Now again, this is a whole recipe, so this is going to make 75 6-inch pies. And I'm going to get the my paper out, and then I'm going to, we don't need the sugar. I'm going to get my thing with my hot water. All this is mix, Crisco, or some type of good vegetable shortening. When you're baking and when you're frying, I do not like off brands as far as, now this is an off brand, but like an oil or shortening, I prefer a name brand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because, you know, I'm high in money and I think I've got to have the more expensive. I've tried it. And
It
I
has
have
a smell to it, to me.
well, it probably does. I don't know about that, but I have fried pies in store brand oil, and it is not good. So, to me, if you're going to put the time and effort and money in something, you need to buy the right ingredients. Don't you feel that way,
Yeah,
Mary?
and it's gone up too. That oil.
And I
it's
paid
gone up a lot.
$13 for a gallon of oil, and it's going to take a lot more than a gallon to fry these pies tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sam's didn't have the big container like we always buy, and probably when they do, I don't have no idea how much it will be. But either Wesson or Crisco, trust me, if you're going to fry pies, you'll thank me for it, because the crust, the oil in the off-brand, and I'm only saying from experience, I'm not going to tell you which brand it was, I'm just going to say it was a store brand, it makes the crust disintegrate, and it's just, I don't like it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, enough said about that. Let me get me some hot water. I'm going to get some wax paper.
Well, what can I do? Do you want me to get something? You want me to get the wax paper for you?
Yeah, you can get some wax paper, and I need to get some hot water, so I'm going to do that. And hold on just a second.
Linda did finish my porch.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
I'll have to post a picture and show y'all. Actually, the trim work, the facings around the outside of the porch, Carla's going to finish that for me, but Linda done the rest of it. And so I'm real happy with it. I'm real happy.
I know
looks
it's pretty.
nice and clean. Same colors I had before: white railing, spindles with the gray flooring. Same colors, but it's just it just looks fresh and neat and clean. And she pressure washed it before she done it, which made it look a lot nicer.
Okay, so I'm going to get 2.5 cups of warm water, and I'm going to have to do this in sections. So it's 1 3/4 of Crisco. So this is a 4-cup measure. So I'm going to 1 3/4, that would be 2 1/4 cups of water, and then I'll finish filling
3/4 and 3/4 is a half, so that would be if you're doubling it.
I'm not. This
not
is
doubling.
the recipe.
Oh, okay.
So let's see, 2.5 cups of 1 3/4 cup of Crisco. This is a 4-cup container, so I'm going to get 2 1/4 cups of warm water or hot water.
I'll get the wax paper when you come back over here.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
Well, now the wax paper, are you wanting the wax paper to wrap it up in?
Once we get it made.
Yeah.
Once we get it made. So, and I am going to wash my hands too before I get in here. But I'll tell you what you can do, Mary. Fill this up to 4 cups with the Crisco. Here, you can do something big enough that. And I'll wash my hands real good and be ready to.
You learned this in homemaking. To measure shortening. You're shortening what you need on your shortening.
Excuse me.
You use enough water to make it come up to that. The water come up to what you're wanting. So when this water level gets up to 4 cups, she will have the right amount of shortening that she wants. I'm going to just put a little bit in there at a time. So I don't like much being enough. Put it in my way. I can't see the shadow.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. All right, I believe it is going to take that other little bit. The shadow of that cup, you couldn't see where the line was.
Okay, and I'm using this bowl here because I like for it to be round instead of deep because I can get my hands in it better. My hands are clean. I've washed them really well. And
you may look and see.
Yeah,
does it need a little bit more?
That's good.
Yeah, like it's just a hair being on 4.
And after I pour this in there, I want you to get me, that was 2 1/4. How much water did I say? Did I say 2 1/4?
2 1/2 a cup of water.
Okay, get me about another half a cup of warm water when I pour this in here.
Okay.
I'm going to just kind of make me a well here in the middle of it, kind of like you make old-timey biscuits. And I'm going to pour this in here.
You said 1 1/2, is that what you said?
Oh, I'm going to let you use the same one here. Yeah, just about a half a cup. I may or may not need it of just hot water. You know how you don't know until you start mixing whether or not you're going to need more water or not, Mary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you do and sometimes you don't.
Did you say 1 1/2?
That's fine. I won't need that much, but I'd rather have too much over here than not enough.
Oh, well, if you're not measuring.
No, I'm not. And if you make this whole thing like this, you can divide this recipe in half and only do the 2 pounds.
That is 1 1/2, so you'll know if you have to tell them.
When you start mixing it, you will know about the consistency of this dough whenever you get it, when it gets right. Because you've got water and you've got the Crisco in here. And I just didn't want to get down on my hands and knees, so I just got parchment paper out. You can use parchment, you can use wax paper, you can put it in bags if you just got some cheap baggies. And when I say cheap, they ain't cheap. You used to could get 100 for $1, now they're almost $4.
Yeah, I know.
Everything just keeps going up.
And what you're doing is mixing this today and putting it in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow it'll be ready to
Yeah.
use. Now, how long should they, if they're doing this all in one day, how long should they leave it in the refrigerator?
It needs to be in the refrigerator probably a couple of hours.
It needs to chill through and through.
Yeah. It's because you have to do this, and because you have to chill the dough, and because you have to chill, or not chill, but you have to let the pies rest after you roll them. If you don't, they're going to come apart.
Yeah, they have to. I don't mean that they have to. It's not like they form a crust, but they kind of dry a little bit before you put them in the grease to oil.
You want to be careful when you're adding this extra water because you don't want to get your dough too thin, because then you're going to have to add flour to it. Unless you bought 2 bags of this, you're going to have to add real flour to it, and that's not ideal. So you may think you need more when you can see this is already coming together. I may put just a pinch more water in here, but I'm not going to put much.
Because you just got a little bit of a
And I do this sometimes to you.
Was that water hot or just warm? Mama?
It was just warm.
Warm. Okay.
See, I've got almost all the flour mixed. I've got just a tiny bit in there.
You don't want hot because it'll melt that shortening too much. Just warm.
Okay, and I'll need 4 pieces of parchment and tear off about pieces about this big, Mary. Actually, a little bit bigger than that. You can actually just probably, I think it may need to be
big enough?
It needs to be bigger, yeah. Now this may seem like it's thick, and it may seem like it needs some more water in it, but trust me, it doesn't, because once this sets and rests, that Crisco is going to it's going to kind of mesh in here, and it's going to, when you take it out tomorrow, it's going to feel oily, but it's not oily. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you see why I want to mix it up by hand. It's just so much easier than trying to use a spoon or having gloves on it.
And there's no comparison to this crust compared to biscuit dough.
No, it's not. And
No
I'll tell you
comparison.
something else too. You see, you can pick it up by your hand. So I'm just going to divide this in thirds.
I thought you said 4.
I did, but we're not going to use that short piece
Okay.
because I want it, just wrap it kind of like a present, Mary, on the sides. And I'm going to just wipe off this bowl, and this is where it's going to stay. In this bowl, I'm going to put a lid on it, put it in the refrigerator.
You just gonna put it back in there?
Yeah, I was going to kind of
out?
wipe off the side of this bowl with a paper
Oh,
towel.
okay.
Thank you, Linda. You read my mind. Thank you. Now, you don't want to make this dough up and leave it in the refrigerator indefinitely. It will turn gray. You don't want that. But it will be okay. Just leaving it in there for a bit. Now, this dough would actually be ready to use this afternoon, but we're not doing the pies this afternoon. We're doing them, wrap those up real nice, Mary. Thank you. And I'll get the lid to put on that. So, here's the dough. Now, each one of these should make about 25 balls, and they will be about the size of a big walnut. And tomorrow we're going to use our pastry mats, and they have circles on them, and we'll use rolling pins to roll them out and fill them. So, and I may have a few already filled when you get here,
Okay.
so we can start frying
Okay.
quicker than we would. I used to roll out a pie a minute. Have you ever timed yours?
No, but you're faster than me.
No, but I mean, when you were making them, when you were making
I was
dozens
making 'em,
and dozens of
I
them,
was rolling them out and getting like 10 or 12 on one roll, but it was different dough also.
yeah. Well, when I was back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, when I was making these and selling 100 dozen a week, it took me a minute to roll and fill a pie. That's what it took. But it's probably going to take 3 or 4 times that now. But that's what happens when you get old.
I know I'm slower than you because I'm just slower than you.
So if you think of
keep rolling.
Mary, don't even go there. You do some things so much faster and better than I do. It's not even funny. But
Can you make the pies and freeze them?
Mama did. I don't. And because for 2 reasons. It's going to pop your grease like crazy. And
because they get a moisture on them. But I've frozen many a pie.
Mama did. Now, Mama did this by herself, and I want to tell y'all something. It's a job. Mike and I have done this and made many a dozen of them, and it is a job doing them. But I don't like to do them and freeze them because they don't puff up as much.
Yeah.
So it's a
difference.
Yeah, it is a difference.
It is a difference.
And probably somebody's going to ask, can you bake them? And yeah, you can bake them. They're not going to taste the same because fried's better. Everybody knows that.
I wonder about air fryer.
You probably could air fry them. You probably could, Linda. You know, you could definitely try it.
Can I have a uncooked one?
Yeah, take home and air fry and take pictures and show us. Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Don't let us forget and fry them all.
I'll
That's your responsibility.
Then it's done. I already forgot.
Yeah. I forget enough. So 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll be here rolling pies and we'll probably start the grease heating. Another thing when you're frying pies, your oil will heat up a lot quicker. You need a heavy boiler, a big boiler. If you don't have one, go to Goodwill and buy one. That's what I did.
I one in an iron skillet, but let me tell you, it makes a mess.
Mama fried them in electric skillets too.
Yeah,
but I'm not a brave person. Y'all all know that. I'm scared to death of grease fires. I've never had one. I'm scared to death of them. Mike will get the smallest boiler in the cabinet and fill it full. I don't do that. I want a big boiler. I want something that's got plenty of room. So if something splatters out, it's not going to start a fire. Now watch me start one tomorrow.
I remember the first time you told me that you fried them in a big boiler. I couldn't even comprehend that. I never did that. But it was just what we did back then. I just did what Mama done.
Yeah.
And I fried them in the iron skillets.
And probably our grandmothers and great-grandmothers, that's probably what they used was iron skillets.
Yeah.
But, thank the Lord. Times have changed.
Yeah.
We live in the 21st century, and I've got a 9-quart boiler, and that's what I'm going to be using as a 9-quart boiler.
I just remember it wasn't just the iron skillet. You remember that big old gold Tupperware pot?
Yeah.
It's a great old big boiler.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't as deep as these boilers, but it was
But
about
you
this.
use that.
We use that, Mom. I can see it so vivid.
Yeah.
I mean, it had because oil had splattered on the
Yeah.
side and burned on it, but it was a big boiler, Mama fried.
I wonder what happened to that
I
boiler.
don't know. I know what happened to
She
mine.
probably sold it in a garage
She
sale.
probably did. I know what happened to mine.
Mama loved having garage sales.
because I had one of them too.
But this will I'll fry 6 at a time. I thought about maybe doing 2 pots, but I'm not because you need a person rotating the pies and, they have to drain on racks. And so it's easier if one person is doing one thing and one person is doing another. So, and we get to eat them tomorh while they're hot. That's going to be so fun. We got to tell them, before we get off the air, we got to tell them, thank somebody that sent us a nice little present yesterday. So, Colette, one of our friends in Florida, sent us a sweet card.
Thank you, Colette.
And,
Thank you very much.
She sent the girls a really cute emery board.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And she sent us, aren't these cute?
They are the cutest things. Little pink waffle irons. Waffle makers.
They're hearts.
Little hearts.
They're so
Aren't those
cute.
cute?
They are.
They're so sweet.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Colette.
Colette.
And thank you for remembering the
Yes.
girls. And thank you for
Yes.
remembering Mike. She sent Mike one too.
Yeah, that's sweet.
That was so
Yeah.
sweet. We love you, Colette. And then we got another sweet letter. And I won't say that lady's name, but a lady from Pennsylvania wrote us a really long letter and sent us a recipe, one of her recipes. So thank you, our sweet friend in Pennsylvania. You know who you are for sending that. And we will be back tomorrow live at
I'll
10
be
o'clock. And we took the whole hour, didn't we? Sorry about that. we'll be back rolling, filling pies, and frying pies tomorrow.
And eating pies.
And eating pies. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope that we showed how to do it enough to where y'all will know the steps, and so you can get in the kitchen and make
Do it in
some.
2 different videos so you could understand how
Yeah.
to do them, for sure.
Is there anything else we're supposed to say? Do we need to mention the meet and greet?
Yes.
Yes. It's October the 22nd at Bear Creek Smokehouse in Marshall. We're going to be having a meet and greet, and we have had quite a few response, but if you're wanting to come, and it's from 10 to 12
Yes.
on October 22nd, and there will be lunch available for you to purchase.
If you want to purchase it, but you don't have to.
Brisket and sausage and I don't know. They have several
Whatever they have,
other
yeah.
sides to it, and we'll be having a meet and greet and having our merchandise and getting to meet you all and
Take pictures.
and there'll be a drawing. We're going to give tickets to all of you who come, and we'll be doing some giveaways.
I know meeting y'all will be excited, but if nothing else, you got to see their bathroom. The best bathroom I've ever seen.
At the Bear Creek
Yes.
Smokehouse. Linda was really impressed
you
with that
kidding me?
bathroom.
I've never taken a picture of a bathroom, but I took a couple.
Well, thank y'all for joining us,
Yes.
and we will see y'all live again tomorrow. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Share our real page with your friends, and like our videos, like each individual video.
If y'all want to attend, if you have not already, please text me how many is coming in your party, if it's more than just you, and just tell them that you're going to be able to be here, because we're trying to get a general idea about how many. So text it to 903-235-4804,
Yes.
and we'll write you down.
Be sure to count your blessings. We're glad to have both girls here with us today. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Bye.
Bye-bye.